But Jason, let's take just a glance at what the bracket might look like come Selection Sunday. As far as what we can tell, who is going to be the likely number one seeds as we head into this. Obviously, South Carolina and Stanford are both going to be rocking that number one seed. Probably NC State as well. After that, I think that it's going to come down to Louisville or Baylor, and I would probably, I don't know, I'd probably narrowly give that edge to Louisville, but that's not. I'm not positive on that because they did have, they were upset in their conference tourney and in kind of an earlier round, and so maybe that kind of changes things. Baylor is technically ranked number 4 right now in both the coaches poll and the AP Top 25, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Baylor in, but I think Louisville might also make a case to be that number 1 seed. So we'll see. It'll come down to one of those two as far as that last number 1 seed, and if that's the case and they are that close, what happens is one of them will go in as the number 1 seed, and the other one will go into that same region as the number 2 seed. So, like, it's not like if Baylor gets bounced to be the number 2 seed that they go and have to play South Carolina's region. They would play in Louisville's same region. So it's kind of a snake draft, you could say, as far as the rankings go. But that's who it's looking like our potential number 1 overall seeds are. There's a lot of teams sitting here on the bubble. Your Missouris, Florida States, Villanovas, Northwestern, UCLA. Me personally, Jason, for selfish reasons, I'm crossing my fingers that Northwestern gets in. It's just for the for the sheer fact that I really, 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 really want to see Veronica Burton in March Madness. I'd love to see Northwestern have an opportunity to get in and see what she can do in the tournament, and get one last look at Burton before WNBA draft stuff comes out. But any thoughts as far as the potential bracket as we're kind of looking at things right now?
Yeah, I mean, a lot's still up in the air. I agree with your basic analysis that really that last number 1 seed is kind of a toss up. I tend to lean Baylor over Louisville, and I'll even throw in UConn. They've got very similar records, and they're number 6 in all the polls. So I mean, you can kind of keep
Maybe
them up there with that group.
them in, yeah.
And you wonder if some of the structural hierarchy in women's basketball is so thoroughly built around UConn that maybe they don't have a chance just for that reason.
Sneaks them in, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes business decisions are made, and UConn in the world of women's basketball, I don't know that anyone has as big of a following as UConn, and rightly so. I mean, they've been a dynasty for a long time. So,
right.
Yeah, those three. I think if you're picking the best team, I think the best team right now is Baylor. I think UConn might be the best team by the end of the tournament out of those three. Right. But it all depends on how they gel and flow. We've only seen a few games with Paige, and I don't want to declare them the champions before we've seen how that plays out, especially against some top-notch competition. So,
well, and even back when they had Paige, they were struggling with some teams. I know that they had that matchup with South Carolina that South Carolina really took care of business. And so, but that's obviously UConn's going to be a factor. I think teams like Iowa State, Texas, Iowa, like some of those other Big 12 teams, in addition to Baylor, I think are some of the more scary teams to match up with. Basically, anybody out of the Big 12 or the Big 10, you really have no idea what you're gonna get because Maryland looked like maybe one of the best teams in the country at times and maybe one of the worst teams in the country at times, and so has Indiana and Michigan, and so that Big 10 and Big 12, those two conferences are just stacked to the gills with a lot of competition there.